taking a little listen to obviously the track that you just played us, you know, we'll agree to disagree, obviously is what it's going to be called, and obviously when you guys get the opportunity to listen to it, obviously it'll be released, obviously you'll see the plug and the promo for that, but it's a different one from the usual type of music that I've heard you put out over the last couple of years, really, and I think I think it's now, obviously it's definitely a bit more of a mature vibe, but there's very clear elements that it's a song that's been broken down through the relationships that you've obviously been in, or relationships with certain girls that you've been in. What made you think, right, this is the type of, now's the time to kind of make this song or get these thoughts down into music?
Do you know what? I actually worked on the song for like a year.
Okay.
It was actually like a long process, and it just, what happened, like when I come into the studio on that day, I was like, let me work on this first, and I had a couple of people around with me, and it wasn't just actually all my, like, didn't all just come down as my, well, it was my thoughts, but I got help with wording it how it needed to be worded. Mainly come from just basically past relationships, and always being told that, like, the same type of stuff, like, I'm always, like, as came across as like a toxic person, as they like to say in this day and age. Do you know what I mean? But I don't personally think that. I think it's more to do with, I know what I want and what I want from a relationship, so if I don't get that, I'm very honest and straightforward, and I found myself in that predicament a few times.
Yeah, definitely, and I think as well, there's elements within it where you're being very honest with yourself in terms of, you know, like, you know, we're not right for each other, or right time, wrong place kind of thing, and it's just like, hindsight's a beautiful thing, and just in life in general, forget relationship, hindsight's just brilliant for any walk of life, whether it's been jobs in the past or, you know, as you say, talking about their relationships, but in the moment, how difficult is it to see those things happening? And that I think for everyone, it sat around, we just, in the moment, it's almost impossible to see until...
It really is. Like, if I could have a superpower, that would probably be one of them, to be able to see, like, obviously have hindsight and just be able to already know what's going on, because obviously we get into these situations.
You're like, lad, if I could just see like 6 months into the future, that'll be fine.
Exactly.
But that leads me to more of an observation, maybe, and from my end of things, in this day and age now, you know, I'll open her up. Do we think we're in a position, or people in general, do you think that we reserve our worst traits exclusively now for the opposite sex? And what I mean by that is the fact that, say, you know, me and you, for whatever reason, Rico, we didn't get on, we didn't really like each other, you know, we're not boys in that sense, and there's no love lost, there's nothing there. I don't see you on Instagram, I don't post, you know, I block you out of my life, you block me out of your life, and we go our separate ways. If I see you in public, I don't have to save you, I don't have to let on to you, you go your way, I go my way, and there's never anything other than that. I think whenever we have the opposite sex, if that's the way your relationship is framed, whenever you have that dynamic with somebody and you bring them into your close circle, I know from my experience... Obviously I can only say from my experience. I know from my experience that there have definitely been times where I've been in a situation with someone, and obviously it's being with the girl and just knowing for myself, just like, I'm being a dickhead to you, but like I wouldn't share that same energy out in the street. But likewise, on the flip side of things, I know girls are very quick to be the same way. So example being, you know, two girls don't like each other, they might bitch about each other to the circle of groups or mates or whatever, but if they see each other out, they'll be best mates. Where have you been to? You know, they'll just act, they'll do the whole fake thing, nicey to the face, and that'll be the end of it. But anyhow, you're in that girl's close circle as her man, or someone that's involved in her life. Anyhow, you upset her feelings, Lord have mercy, she's going to let you know it, and she'll go from 0 to 100 real quick, and it'll be a case of, she'll be kicking off, she might be looking to threaten you for this, you're the dickhead, you're the worst, you're the scumbag, you're a rat. And it's just like, right, I'd never see you share that same energy with another person out in the street. So I feel like we're almost at a point now where we are kind of reserving that energy and traits to...
I agree with you. I think, I always say, like, I think gal bring the worst out in me.
Or is it that? Is it that though? Do they bring the way?
That's a better way of wording it.
Do you think the opposite sex are now bring, or regardless of which way it is?
I don't know. It's one of them. It's not linear. You know what I'm saying? It's not straightforward. It's like, I think we give them that power. It's like it's a 50-50 thing, you get me? So it's like, with your saying it's a better way to word it, it might be sometimes, I don't know about all the time, like, when you let them do your head in, that's our fault, lad. Do you know what I mean, though? Look, because at the end of the day, yeah, like you're saying, so me and you don't get on, yeah? Even if you was chatting all this shit, yeah, I can just go, man.
Mute, block, whatever it is.
Over my head, look, wink, gal. Do you get what I'm saying to you now? Like, it's not...
It's deep, it's different, but that's the thing, that's what obviously listening to music like that, it is food for thought, and it does make you think about your own relationships or, you know, your own experiences with being in relationships. But for me, it does feel almost as if we are in that a bit of a bubble with that, especially within our generation, where we do kind of, there's no way that I'm just going to start kicking off in front of people in public, and like, as I say, I haven't, and as a guy, to know that I haven't got the energy. So for me, as you were saying there, it's about an energy thing. I ain't about to give you my energy or that time, wasting it on you to vent and fume. But when it comes to a girl, I think when they know they've got you, or vice versa, and you've got them, you feel no waste. I see man sitting in a corner over there quiet at the minute, I know. But it's true, like, you know for the fact that, like, if they've got you or you've got them, you know how to play on those emotions. Yeah.
If your girl could pan you, you would not have the same energy with them. Like, that's the truth. Like,
if they could box you?
If your girl could box your head, and you're not going to flip at them. You're not going to have all that worst traits.
Do you think people say manners, under manners? Do you reckon it's...
The reason why you don't go out to, like, on road and then just have that same energy with man, because, like, let's just say you know that they can have it. You're not going to go and run your mouth. You're going to be respectful. It's a pecking order. And like what it is with 99% of relationships, the pecking order, no girl can pan their fella, so...
But vice versa, they still give it beans though, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've been... Again... There have been times where, even if it's not just me or I know somebody personally, they're telling me their experience, where, like, no, on a serious, they'll be telling me the experience of, like, you know, the type of relationship they're in with this type of girl and the levels, and just how quick it can escalate from, bro, we was having a conversation one minute about X, Y, and Z, and the next minute now, she's kicking off, she started fuming, she's packed all of my bags, she's bin bagging me stuff, she's throwing stuff.
Cans of Coke at me head.
Anything and everything, do you know what I mean? These things, and there'll be people there watching thinking, yeah, I've had situations like that, or I know people that have had those type of situations, and I think it is now, as it must be something that means that they feel that they're able to do it to us, and there's no bad that can come of it, and we're able to do it to them, and we don't feel any consequences either. And I think obviously it's something that's not ideal for building healthy and strong relationships, but from music like that, you feel like when you come out of that period and out of that place where you can kind of assess your own missteps, assess where their shortfalls were on certain levels, do you then feel like, right, I can put all those pieces together now, and I know, again, as you said earlier, just you know what you want, then you can realign. This is what I want. This is how I've behaved in the past, so now moving forward, this is the look.
Definitely, I think that's definitely a big case. Like, obviously, in past experiences, as the track says, you can see I've been...
Agree to disagree.
I've been a bit of a dickhead, do you know what I mean? Where now in more finding someone who I care about and stuff and that, and going forward, I would do it all a lot different. Do you know what I mean?
Equally, I think, you know, it's easy to say as lads we can all be dickheads, because we kind of, you know, we're not trying to excuse ourselves, but I feel like girls, obviously there's no one there to hold their corner today, but they can be equally as savage in this day and age.
Just as bad in this day and age, like, trust me, like, some guys don't ever come back from how savage they do. You don't ever forget that. Like, some man is still there, just still here, bro, over the X, and not looking to move on anytime soon, or not because they just literally physically can't or mentally, because they're like, if that's what it's going to be like in the next one,
I'm not going.
I don't want that. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
That really bad. Like, that's why it's like almost like fear. You know, exactly. It's almost being scared. Like, psychological fear. That's what it is.
If you're scared, you're gonna like lash out, or you're gonna like prevent that from happening, and maybe one of the only ways you can is threaten them, or like
it's a different kind, it's a different level of like emotion. It's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot more hard. It's a lot harder to be upfront with the situation. I know you said before, like, you know, if you feel a certain way, then you'll just let it be known.
Yeah.
But, for example, if I come in a bad mood and one of you is pissing, I'll say, fucking hell, man, just leave it. It's very easy to just say, look, I'm in the fucking mood, and then, as lads, we just kind of let it go.
Yeah, 100%.
But quite often, with your girl, it's kind of like, you might not want to upset her in some kind of way.
You're right.
And if you sit on it, and then you start having that battle with something, you're like, should I say it? I can't be arsed with this shit. It's going to open a whole can of worms of shit that hasn't been said.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're arguing about something that you should have brought up 3 months ago. So it's like a whole build-up of emotion. You don't have that same level of emotion with the boys.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Communication, I think, is easier with boys.
Yeah. It's easy to just say it as it is.
Yeah.
Look, we're either going to shake hands or, I'm not like a fighter or anything, but like, we're either going to shake hands or fight them, and lads can be upfront on that level, and as I said before, you know, you're not going to box your girl, so you've got to find a way of approaching it, and it's not always as upfront or as easy.
Yeah, it's never easy.
And every girl's different to the next girl, so it's like you figure one out, you're on to the next one, and you're back scratching your head like, this is square one again.
I think as well with this, the day and age that we're, obviously the generation that we're in now, and this day and age, I think the fact that social media, it plays a huge...
I'm glad you've said this, because I feel like part of this, is that all of us are almost brainwashed. So there's all these things, this big list that your girl can't do this, and your girl can't do that, and you can't have a babe who does this, and then girls have got the same thing. Oh no, lads. He's one of these lads, this, that, and the other.
It's so easy to put people in boxes now.
Yeah, in categories.
Very fast, and then all of a sudden,
that whole you're my type on paper type deal. You don't know, you know what I mean? You don't judge a book by the cover, but you're my type on paper. Like, really? Like, it's those type of things that that's acceptable now. That's like that's
kind of like back in the day, the way black people used to get stereotyped. It's like that. It's not much difference.
It's not.
I swear to God,
This
no, what it is.
thing that you say though. Yeah. Like it's very easy to have a quick glance at someone's profile and assume based on a bio, a few lines.
Yeah, she's me.
As well, think of an example. You see a girl who's got more than one city in a bio, you'd assume she's hoeing in a bio. For that lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
we assume as like she's either a brat, she's a mummy and a daddy's boy, and she's got money. Someone's funding it. Your first go-to wouldn't be, no, do you know what? She's worked hard for it.
Yeah.
But
she loves to travel.
But then does that say more about us?
No.
Or does it say more about
girls,
the
No, because girls do the same.
Exactly.
No,
the
but
same
there's exactly the same.
But that's what I'm saying. I think say
ways.
more about us, that's the way we think about them, and that's how we perceive
when you
them.
say us, are you saying us as lads? Or
Yeah, us as lads. Do you know what I mean?
Because girls can see it in a nice car. Yeah, defo grafts.
But this
is
kind of the point.
He's got money. I'll get into him.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very easy to assume and have that opinion on someone based on that one.
So it's people's like unconscious biases.
And that's only how it's portrayed on social media.
Yeah.
I can look at my own and people could be like, hey, this kid's out here living this fitness life, travelling from A to B to so on, because I don't post me work on there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas my day to day is actually quite bland by comparison.
Alright then, so who do you think plays on it more than just in general? Do you think lads play on that more, or
put us in a war with the girls, bro?
Yeah, do you know what? I'll be honest.
Put us in a war with the girls,
I'll be honest. It's just both just as bad. Both just as bad. Like maybe it might have, a couple of years ago it might have been a bit different, but like the way things are going right now, definitely it's both just as bad as each other.
I was gonna say.
What would you put yourself like? So use quick to categorize, or
okay.
I'm not saying quick to categorize. We can look at someone's profile and we'll gauge. We'll make an educated guess. Like I think they're this kind of person. So off your profiles, what do you think like? What do you try and portray off yours?
Oh. Do you know what? I try and look like very private, to be honest. I'll be honest. As much as I put loads of stories up every day and stuff, but my general like news feed, whatever it is, your news feed or whatever what you put up. So if you see that, like I only have like about 10 pictures up of myself, and it's like
I haven't put a Facebook photo in about 7 years. So I laugh when people say they've been trying to find me on Facebook and stuff like that, because I'm like, you're looking at old pictures of me. I don't look the same. I don't act the same. I'm not doing the same stuff as that's like on my Facebook. So I wouldn't really know what people were to take at one glance at me. I don't have an Insta.
It varies from app to app for me.
I was waiting for the response.
To be fair, you're
right
So
there
like
as well.
Twitter's like
Twitter's
funny me.
different,
You know what I mean? Like this is the
yeah.
funny Joe, and then like Instagram's like the hot me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the me on snot. You know what I'm saying?
Have you put, like with your Instagram, are you trying to say out like in other words, I'm available? Do you know what I mean?
Nah. You know what?
You want to be living with like. Mine's
not though, you know, as well.
Saturday on a Friday, like phone still hasn't like, no, I've got no plans, I've got nothing going on here. I won't post that, but it's like, hey, I'm out at the weekend with the boys, and it's like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing this.
On Twitter, you like, you know what it is? If you're doing this something that you're not got nothing to do on a Friday, and that you go to post that on Twitter, like,
That's definitely.
I don't use Twitter, but Twitter's good for arguments and like sarcasm.
Twitter's brilliant
for all of that.
Brilliant.
I'd like to throw out there that Twitter's better than Instagram as well while we're just here.
Okay, yeah, well, a few people have said that to me over the last couple of months, that, you know, Twitter's come back. It had a bit of a...
Twitter's always been better. Like, all the jokes and that people get on Instagram come from Twitter.
Don't get carried away though, right? I have never found a better app for promotional purposes than Instagram.
Yeah, true that.
The Instagrammers love me. The Twitter fan don't love me.
Yeah,
I'm always like joining in the conversation on. Look, people bring the conversation to me on Insta.
You're right.
That's the difference. But do you think that's the visual aid as well? Then being able to see you and be.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, because that's hot me. That's hot me.
Joe's Instagram's brilliant, by the way. You know, if anyone follows Joe, they'll know themselves. KOJ Online. I'm telling you, like, trust me, it's hilarious. Like, if you get him at the right time, you're in for a laugh.
Right, well, let me just bring it back to obviously the you know, two of the main guests that are in the room with us tonight. We've obviously got Rico and Wavy Joe. So obviously, again, appreciate you guys coming down and just taking a little bit of time out of your day to just sit with us, and obviously
always.
Yeah,
lad, you was there when we was going to Manny, lad, doing shows. You used to drive us up to do shows and that. Come on, lad.
Still, but even
like, lad, I was thinking bro, like I couldn't turn around and say, "Oh no, I can't come to this podcast," you know, lad, and go on all stush.
Did you come to P Money?
Yeah.
Bro, you've witnessed it.
He's witnessed it all.
And then we've been to Fingo. I remember going further back when I was thinking about setting this up today, and obviously the interviews that we used to do way back when we was filming for the first time, and obviously we first got into bits of filming in the studio. So even musically, we've had a little connection in terms of how we've worked in and around each other for years. But obviously, me and you went back to the same
school, and we were
back in the day. So I know.
Sorry to interrupt you. It would have been around then. I can remember a time. So we sat in my room, back in the room in his house. 4 of us around the table. Yeah. Sort of spit into glass, but there's 3 of us there who really can't spit at the time. And it's like the most basic shit. And he's looking at me and he's like, hey, you know. And then next week he just starts like killing it, and we're sat there like.
I remember this.
Levels. Like, this is like 2009, 10.
We're very early. This is like just probably just finishing school and stuff.
Let's just leave this.
I remember that.
I
remember that.
So, I remember it. Right, for you guys, and how did you guys link up? What's
our link up's very mad. You know, he was in New Zealand at the time, to be honest. But
what was you doing over there, bro?
I just went there after I went to footy college when I left school. And I got to that point in life where I'm asking people like, what are you doing when you leave? And they're like, I'm doing this and that, and I'm scratching my head still. And this kid was just going there and just took me with him, kind of thing.
Standard. How long was you there for? A couple of months?
6 months I was there, yeah. I would have stayed longer, but I have to come home in the end.
Standard. So then going obviously.
So even before then, our first like connected properly is me and Joe clashed on radio.
Yeah.
I kind of done him dirty because I spat my bars and then just passed the mic to someone, so he couldn't really go at me.
So I'm ready to go
I
at
think
Rico
he's ready
now,
to go at me, and instead
guy.
it's Big Zoo. He's going at now all of a sudden, but I rate him because he went at him. Do you know what I mean? And then from that day, I noticed, like, before then I kind of had a bit of a biased opinion over Joe.
Be honest,
like, I was just well better than Joe.
I was messaging man for
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was. I was acting stush with him and whatnot. Like, I was going to get to that. So before this point, I had a very biased opinion about Joe. I was like, he's messaging me for tunes, and now I'm kind of just like this kid. Do you know what I mean?
I was a kid.
And then obviously, and then I've seen him live in the flesh, like go at Zoo and that, and it was like, oh, he can actually spit. Do you know what I mean? Like, he probably would have took my head off then if I would have stayed on the mic. Do you know what I mean? like, I'm made up, I passed the mic, because at that time, like, clashing weren't my forte, and that's what I was like. And then when he was in New Zealand, I obviously got the call. I knew I was going to be Red Bull Liverpool captain well before, like, other people even probably knew they were going to be in that. I was kind of plugged in and got told, look, you're going to be the captain for them.
How did that come about? Because I remember, obviously,
lad, it actually come about, basically, at the time, I think the guy put it, Johnny Townsend or something, his name is like that. He put a tweet out saying who should be on Red Bull, and Riggs and Wiley actually reached out to him and said you should put Rico as the captain, and I think that cemented me place there. So that's how I knew already.
That was a good look, that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's never really come out and me I've spoke of it like that, but that's how it did. And then obviously at the time for me, like, Joe was the top grind man, like he really was. You know, I'd listened to, I've seen at this point, I'm seeing him kill shows in New Zealand as well. I'm seeing him in New Zealand. Actually, lad, he might as well have been crowd surfing. Like, the crowds are going mad for this.
Well,
and I'm like,
it was one of the first things I noticed. Obviously, when me and you go and you do your sets and whatever, and you started bringing Joe along. Just the energy.
Yeah, it become a lot more of like, whoa, like, before that I was always asking mates to back me up on stage, and they'd be getting starstruck and stuff. I finally found someone who knew me lyrics even better than me.
And
knew where I needed breaths and stuff. He knew where and vice versa for them as well. After so many sets, like, I'd say probably the best thing that got us like training up to speed was an event called This Is Grime, was it?
We Are Grime.
We Are Grime. That on Thursdays in the bottom of downstairs heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
That really made us like.
We was doing some sessions in here as well. Remember that day?
So we had our first set together, and the first set we just were both trying to spin each other. Like, just it was like a proper competitive vibe, and even the first time. So when he got back from New Zealand, I said, look, I'm going to come and pick you up, Joe, go to my yard and that, have a little smoke and that. And I'm spitting back to back with him. I'm thinking, bro, this kid's got just as many bars, if not more. I'm searching for bars in my head. I'm like, this kid can spit, you know, this kid can, I seen it from then. And I was like, yeah, he's going to take like the grime elements of like for the city far. Do you know what I mean?
100%. So when did the name changes seem to happen then? What was...
So...
Not long ago.
Literally, I changed my name about... Got in the gym and got inch. And I seen the traps coming, and I thought, you know what? It's only right to get called Trapson out here. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a double entendre. I'll leave the other one silent for the podcast. It's not hard to put it together, but that's how it come about for me. I was saying to Joe for ages, I was like, lad, I'm going to rebrand myself. I'm kind of rebuilding myself. I'm going to get into the gym. I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to cut my hair off and all that.
Yeah,
and then
it made sense on
everything just
on
happened.
That level, because it was like...
But I think that's... I mean, I've been on a pretty similar journey, just the other way around. Last time I was here, I had fade.
Yeah. You've gone the opposite. You've gone the other way.
So I've gone the other way, but in the same essence that it was about like finding a new me. Do you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
So obviously now moving forward, what have you guys? What's the plans for yourselves?
Joe can speak first.
Joe, on a personal level, I've got music in the bank. So it's just about recording, getting some visuals, putting some stuff together. I got a few freestyles coming out.
That was very played down.
Nah, I love.
He is playing it down a bit, but his music, like the music he is sat on, like obviously I've heard it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good music. That's the
guy,
rebranding and all that kind of. You know, in life, I felt like I'd progressed, and then in music, I felt like I'd definitely progressed.
Because that's what that thing I think not everyone will probably realise. How old are you actually?
22. Just saying 22 last year.
But I don't really get like people think just musically or not, just in terms of maturity for the 20. I didn't have that level of maturity at 22. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's clear to see even.
I can put my hand up that I definitely didn't.
But like it's good that like when you mix that level of maturity with a certain talent, do you know what I mean? And you just
certainly. And you can definitely in the new music you can definitely feel that. So yeah, I've got a few little bits and bobs coming out. So I've got a few grime sets, filmed ones coming out and stuff. Me and Rico did a tape not long ago. Recorded the tape.
I've heard bits of that.
Yeah. So. It's just a timing thing of when to drop it and stuff. But once the tunes are done, they're locked in the box. You know what I mean? They don't.
How do you find that on your journey the whole time and thing? Did you feel like that is probably one of the key elements, or
Yeah,
what?
I think that's where I messed up before when I was Rico'd on. I'd do a tune, it'd be hard, and I'd be like, I'm getting this out now, the world needs to hear it. Where now I'm probably sat on about 80 songs, free
80?
mixtape.
Double it,
more.
double it, and then take two
Around
off
that,
and then add another 10.
like I'm like anyone who knows that I'm sat on a lot of music. I'm sat on like a lot of tapes and stuff, and like for me, doing the things that I needed to do, like I said, like rebrand myself, like look more into myself and stuff, and like just have a break away from like the whole like putting stuff out and that. I now feel like there's an urgency for me music to come out. People are waiting for me to actually drop something. So the little absence that I've took away is it's actually gave me a bit more power.
Yeah, people are onto me enough. When's Rico dropping music? Oh yeah, and then when are you dropping music? Yeah, but when's Rico dropping music? No.
Do you think they can get it from him?
Probably.
Do you think he's got some
me a
form
couple
of better
tunes, bro.
intel?
No,
Do you know what I mean? He's because to
But
be
it's
fair,
good that you've got that though, and as I say, is like I know he's on a duo in that sense.
to be
music,
fair,
but
we kind of are, as much as we do solo stuff and that. Do you know what I mean? Like the best music we
developing
make,
into that.
the best music we make is together.
Definitely, yeah.
Like
the best thing you used to do together is on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
would
yeah,
say that.
yeah, so
I
when
was
you
gonna
put
say
a
this-
set
I
together live,
recently put out there that you can't book me and Joe for any less than £500 each, because what we're giving people, big acts aren't giving people that, you know. So it's like, and when the tapes drop, the price is going up.
Yeah.
The price is going up.
I can appreciate there's artists who can bring in this many people and bring in this or whatever.
yeah,
We can have
When
no
we're
one in a
on
room
stage,
and bring people in.
yeah, that's what
That's
it is.
one of our biggest things.
it's
We can
like-
have no one in front of us be spitting, and all of a sudden
People
there's
are
50, 100 people there.
How have you found that then over like the last couple of years? That kind of the more business elements of obviously you're trying to make sure you get on the right platforms. You're trying to make sure you get on the
hate
right
that
set.
shit, like.
But you've got your music is so far gone now. You can't just be.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're not saying you can't. Just people. There is well more to you than just being able to spit a freestyle. Essentially.
Yeah.
How have you found that? Has it been turbulent? Obviously, has it been turbulent? Has it?
It has been hard, but what I basically have recently found myself a manager, so my life's become a lot easier. Do you know what I mean?
sense,
So
yeah,
all of
yeah.
a sudden now, like I just sit down and make plans with him, and he kind of tells me what like we really need to be focusing on and stuff.
And do you think
I
that's come
didn't
at the right time? Do you
That's
think?
come at it couldn't have come at a better
Perfect
time.
time,
It
innit?
come at the best time ever. Literally, he got on me over. I put something up on Instagram. He heard it and he was like, "Where's that thing you've just deleted?" Like, I'm renowned for putting things up and leaving it up for 10 minutes and taking it down. He's like, "Where's that gone?" He's like, "Can I have that for my vlogs and that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then obviously I sent him my tape, and he straight away he messaged me like, "Yo, send me your number." Called me and he's like, "Who's managing you? Like, I want to manage you. Like, I can hear like the levels and I know where you should be and that." And like to hear someone who's like just a complete stranger, doesn't know me
Almost in that sense,
or
yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
like that morale, like gave me a crazy boost of morale, and like probably brought this next wave of music that I'm doing right now. Do you know what I mean?
So I know you've been busy in the studio. Every time
Yeah,
I keep
I'm
running
busy.
into the studio, I keep seeing you here, and I know
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
working with Cove. So there's again, I know we were speaking about that one type of song earlier in terms of it was a little bit deeper and it's a definitely more mature
yeah.
sound. What is your vibe? What's your sound right now moving forward? What is? Do you know what I mean? If he's because I know the music. The urban music scene in England or in the UK has changed drastically over the last 4 or 5 years. You know, you've had the Afrobeat type of wave. You've had Grime's coming back. It's went out. It's coming back, kind of thing.
Drill's doing the grind thing, isn't it?
Drill's doing the grind thing. So where do you sit with it right now? Because you're so versatile.
Yeah, I'm still a versatile artist. So like
now more than ever.
I can't really just home in on one and be like, yeah, I rap on trap beats or I do drill, because actually if you go through my bank of music, I've got it all there, even down to that tune we've just been playing before. Do you know what I mean? And same with if you listen to mine and Joe's tape, like which you've heard some of the tunes, it's another deeper level. Do you know what I mean?
I think that tape specifically though is
That's where
you can stamp that as like it's almost like it's like real rap meets grime kind of.
It's just got
you know like
feel.
soft with a punch though. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like his solo music is boom, some of this, some of that, whatever. I can do this, I can do that. But our music together has kind of it's gone in a certain direction. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely,
You know what I mean?
definitely. We kind of seem when me and him are both on a track, we kind of both speak about
the bad things that have happened a lot. We tend to go into like the bad things. Basically, in music now, everyone wants to rap about the winnings and the good times and this. We're rapping more about like, oh, well, off the back of this happened and if only you knew. Do you know what I mean? This isn't the stuff what like when shit hits the fan, we're rapping more about stuff like that. Which like it's a lot like to be fair, like Skepta's last album. Do you know what I mean? That he put out where like when we heard that, me and him were both like, oh my god, like it's sick that like there is actually someone given that perspective who's big as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's not cool. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, cool, people don't go on like it's cool to speak about
what. About drip and ice and everyone wants to talk about splashing and this guy and that guy and this trip.
And then what about like the normal people? Do you know what I mean? Like there's normal people going through things every day where that's where mine and Joe's music is. Do you know what I mean?
And I've definitely, because I can relate to a lot of the stuff you're saying. I think as well, being obviously local lads and all coming from Liverpool, we've shared similar experiences. It doesn't necessarily have had to happen to you, but when you tell me the story, I can relate back to a time when something similar has probably happened to me at some point as well. And I think as well, coming into a bigger conversation really, was that moment in the Brits. I don't know if anyone got the opportunity to watch that last week, but obviously Dave's done Black as a song, and obviously when he released that song in the first instance, obviously it did really well, it got into the charts or whatever, but people seem to be a bit outraged the fact that, you know, why is he, you know, talking about Black if a white gentleman from such and such a place did it, would it get the accolades? That kind of stance on it. So then when he's done it again live and then added the extra bars at the end where he's obviously basically said, you know, we need to address the Windrush scandal at the moment, we need to obviously address the Grenfell housing situation because people still aren't housed, we need to address the fact that our Prime Minister's racist. Again, people have jumped on him as if to say, why is he saying this stuff now? He's just on that Stormzy bandwagon of calling everybody a racist. And I just wanted to bring you, I know you guys are obviously musicians, and I wanted to bring in that reality into the room. What is that like for you? That whole kind of, how did you view that moment? Was it powerful for you, or was it something?
That's exactly, I'd say it was a very powerful moment, do you know what I mean?
That's the truth. Like, it only triggered racists.
Exactly. No one who's not racist was like, oh, why is he saying this and that? For me, it was a very powerful thing to do. He could have, like, he's got a lot of shit.
Other bangers and
he's got, not even just that, he's over it. He's got a lot of shit off people for doing that, but it was the right thing to do. Do you get what I mean? 100%. He's basically like, he was only speaking facts. It's not like he's making this up like other people's music, lying and stuff. He's actually speaking about real issues that's gone on in Britain and that is going on in Britain. Do you know what I mean? 100%. So for me, that was very powerful. 100%.
Oh yeah, well, I think you know, we said this last week, didn't we, Marcel? We obviously don't want to delve too much into the politics side of things because we think there's so much more for us to really be talking about, and we'll leave that to other people that want to talk politics. But obviously when we do talk music and with musicians and stuff, that little crossover, I think it is fitting. We can't just skate over it. So with that being said, are those moments there that you've had to capture as well in your own music where you do have to address the tensions from the city sometimes and the real life elements where, because I know at one point in time you wasn't living in the ends, Rico, so it was like, what was that experience like with the big hair shit, you get me?
Yeah, so that was a mad experience. That was the maddest experience. Anyone who like knows, at one point I lived in Huyton for like 2.5 years. When I first moved to Huyton, the looks I would get walking down the road was mad, but then after a while of being there and people noticing that I'm actually here to stay in that, I actually got shown quite a lot of love, do you know what I mean? Which like, 100. I never expected, to be honest. I didn't.
It goes back to what Marcel was saying, we have that preconception in our minds of either a person of a certain area or a certain way some people are going to be, and until you're actually in that situation, you don't realise what the reality of the situation is.
I've heard enough crud about that area, you know, since you moved there. I've heard enough crud about that area.
Yeah, it was a mad time because I was just bopping down, big afro, do you know what I mean?
Big
like,
dog.
Big,
Look,
yeah, obviously,
you know
I got a dog like 6 months after being there because it only seemed right, but like the looks I used to get walking to the shop and that, like, it was crazy at one point. Like, when I first moved there, I was hood up everywhere when I was just cutting around through and that, but after a while, like, it became one of them situations where like once people clocked I was a scouser like them, they put me into that category instead. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like.
So do you think that in terms of obviously relating back to the Dave situation of a week, do you think we're now in a place where that was a bit of a watershed moment? Do you think people are going to now start paying attention to it more, or do you think it's something that it's not likely to change, but the fact that more musicians are starting to put those type of, or leaving enough for people to have food as thought, it's going to naturally seep into people's mindsets?
I don't know if it's going to change anything. I think we need artists like Dave. Yeah. And I think what he does is excellent. Yeah.
He's one of my favourite, like, UK artists, obviously.
I think he's great for UK music. The way he'll talk about Grenfell, and he'll talk about what was something about the Queen or something he did as well, didn't he? Some big long tune about Question Time. Yeah. This black tune, like we need stuff like that, but I don't think it's ever gonna break the surface.
Okay. I personally agree with that as well.
Like, when you even think about it, like, you can't name a day when racism ended. Like, people try and pretend that like loads of things was left with the slave trade.
Well, that's you fully goes on day to day. Before got stories.
Yeah, 100%.
Racism has ended.
And he basically says that, you know, people from slavery and stuff haven't had reparations in any way, shape, or form. Do you know what I mean? So until you kind of look to address that, the one thing that I will throw this out into the room, and I will, at some point I do want to have a proper conversation about racism. But we're just grazing over it for the time being. But I think as well, as a race of people, we can't genuinely put too much onus on one individual white person saying we was wrong. I don't think that we're ever gonna get that, and we can't expect that of any, because there's no like figurehead for the white man. Do you know what I mean? To say we know we fucked up all hundreds of thousands. But look at the Prime Minister though. Yeah, but look at the
black population in the UK. I think it's less than 3%. Yeah, so it's like 3%. So ridiculous. We don't vote him in. Do you know what I mean? And like,
hey, no wheeze. There will be no wheeze tonight.
Who did you vote for?
I didn't vote.
And again, that's another conversation.
Look, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Black person did register to vote. That's 3% of the population. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, racism in this country is institutionalized. That's genuinely what it is. And like, if you think about it, it was only people's nans and granddads really that were acceptance of it. Like the words, like they said words that we now like won't say. We can't say, like, you can't say them on television. But like, have you seen some of the soaps from like the 70s and that?
Was it Love Thy Neighbour? Is it Love Thy Neighbour? Love Thy Neighbour, yeah.
But look.
Joke of the fact that racism was still blatantly
Before we get too far away from it though, look. Why is the black man waiting on the white man's apology?
True.
Why?
Because of this.
I heard that. Gun fingers to that one.
If you have an argument with your girl, like, you're not going to move on from that point until she.
Yeah, but look. All right. So the white people of today did not enslave the black people of today. Number one. Number two. Look. 100%. We've all got this picture in our head of the white man sailing a ship to African lands, jumping off, casting a net over these black people and catching them. Look, there was a black man waiting at the shore with slaves ready to sell, bro. So all of the, like, we're miseducated anyway.
The slave trade's been about before the white man coming about, black man, like the
black people weren't the first slaves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Slave trade that exists amongst every race.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
But human trafficking goes on
white people had servants, white people had white servants.
The pyramids wouldn't have been built without slaves.
But I think as well, when it comes to then, if we really narrow it down and you think about Liverpool as an area, then I think the way we've had waves and generations, as we saw about before, the Windrush generation and that kind of stuff, the way that they've integrated into the communities here now, I always pictured it as the black people in the 60s and 70s were racially abused, as we said about the TV programs. It was a cultural norm, and it was never really frowned upon. It was widely accepted in communities. So black people used to get it back then. Then once the black people had been integrated well enough, and they had the next generation, so maybe your uncle's generation or your dad's generation, your generation. At that point now, it's like the 80s. That point now, the black people, as you were saying before, Rico, well, you're a Scouser because you've grew up as a Scouser, you went to school.
I wouldn't say 80s, like, because in the 80s.
The 80s was still a bit. It was
like the police were very like
it's
against.
different. I'm talking about like.
Oh,
I'm
just
talking
like
about
living side by
community.
side.
Yeah, so communities changed. Obviously, institutionally, as you're saying there.
I've just pulled up a little poster here, and this is from 1964, and this is the Tories,
Go on.
like for the general election. Face the facts. If you desire a coloured for your neighbour, vote Labour.
I've seen it. Yeah.
If you are already burdened with one, vote Tory. Now look, that's 1964. Like them people there, like so look.
That's what alive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my mum was alive.
But that's exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So in terms of the institutional stuff, that is there, and it's kind of hard rooted in. But the community side of things, at that point now, black people in terms of communities like LA and Wavertree and South Liverpool were a little bit more. You get a pass almost as you're a black Scouser now. You're kind of one of us. And then when you start to get to the 90s and you get the Somalians that then came into the community, you get black people then looking at the Somalians being like, so we then pass the book to them and you're not one of us because you're not Caribbean.
That still goes on today now.
Oh, exactly, but it filters down to the
right now it's the
Romanians
Romanians
at every level of it. You've got.
But so we're all as guilty as the original
I think anyway, black people are just as guilty for being racist as white. It's got to be said. Look,
well, you guys, I mean, you are all mixed race, so you have got.
Change the word racism to ignorance.
Yeah,
true.
Even think about this. Yeah, do you know someone was 7 foot tall and everyone in one room was 5'11", and a 7 foot tall person come in? Everyone's going to look at that 7 foot tall person the same way that they'd look at a black person if it was just like a room full of white people. And it's nothing to do with like people are tallest, if that's a thing, or it's just to do with people don't accept difference straight away.
Of course, but I think for that same reason, everyone needs to get this chip off the shoulder, this racism chip. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, I don't think the black man, he often doesn't do himself any favours with this. No, I don't. No, not with white people, G. Do you know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of that.
Exactly
but you know, how do we like? So all that black man is waiting for is the white man's apology. When's he gonna get it, lad?
So look, it's not even the apology.
It's not even an apology. It's
acknowledgement. It's not. It's acknowledgement of.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. We were kind of saying, I'm gonna put like,
No, I know what you're saying. It's acknowledging. It's acknowledging that.
It's acknowledging. So we were laughing about it, and it was kind of like, oh, you're not actually that bad. That doesn't make it right. The fact that it's like you've still been judged and stereotyped initially, but then it's like like you've kind of been included in, and I actually think that's the best we can hope for.
Nah, you know what though? I'm glad you've said that. I'm glad you said because then
that acceptance is kind of like, we know we're not that bad, but we're glad you've realised that.
Yeah, and it's only up to you you've got two options. You either go, what do you mean we're not that bad, lad? Man? Or you go, I tell you what, neither are you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Neither are you. So do you think Boris Johnson's racist, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if our population voted him in, what does that tell you?
Yeah, but I tell you what though, let's not make it all about race, because look, lad, look, bro, if I voted this year, I can't promise I would have voted Labour anyway.
So Jeremy Corbyn?
Look, lad, it's bollocks. It's bollocks. And I'm not educated enough on politics to get all the way into this.
The reason why I don't really get into politics is because look, whether you vote for the left wing or the right wing, it's still part of the same
bird.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Oh, man, knew the saying together, you know.
The levels, though.
Spread gang.
Politics, guys.
You get me? I'm just out of this talk for a sec.
100%. But no, do you know what? I think obviously we can definitely pick this back up again at some point, and obviously we can share more experiences, and we'll at some point we'll delve into.
And I'm voting Tory. Hey, I'm about to get cancelled.
But at some point get some online hate for this one.
You cannot vote Tory.
It's impossible.
That's one thing
I'm not saying I would have voted Tory. I'm just saying, look, look. It used to be a whole Labour up here, Tory down here, and now it's like, Labour are they're getting worse.
Who've you got up there? What's mine?
Green Party.
No, what's that other Donny? What's his name?
Farage.
What's his party called?
Lib Dems.
No, is he thinking he's racist as well, bro?
I think nobody's actually got our interests at heart. This is why I don't vote. This is why I don't fuck with it one bit altogether.
Of course,
especially on cities.
That's why I didn't vote.
We have two parties. It's like, shall we break your left leg or your right leg? You pick one and then it's like, okay, here's crutches. No, you couldn't walk.
Yeah, and it's like, obviously, we know, so keep it on your left leg or your right leg. Like, I know I'm right-footed, so I'd say, take me left one.
Oh, yeah,
and that's all that's happening.
I like that. So that is just voting, because, like, obviously, our population is mainly white. So, they've just, as you said, they've looked at it and they're like, I'm right-footed.
Yeah. I agree, they haven't got any of our interests at heart, and that's why it was something like 33% didn't vote, and that was the most people on a thing. So then, like, 28% voted Tory, 25% voted Labour, something like that.
28% of the remaining 67%.
Of course. Of course.
No, of course.
Juked. They get juked. You make it. I could make a static.
I believe that many people didn't vote though.
Put it out as a fact.
Because I normally vote, and I said, you know what? Do you think I'd wipe my ass with this voting thing?
But I think that's another thing in terms of false information that's just readily available now. We live in an age where information is readily available.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You know what it's baffling about statistics, yeah? Like, so many times you hear on the news, like, 76% of people I think to myself, I was never included
in that conversation.
Has anyone ever been asked any of them random questions that they just tell you on BBC?
Yeah, they just grab them man on the street and just like, just do a quick survey for us, but they never grab us. They never grab us, and I'm not saying
70, of a certain type of person you get sent out to ask. You look middle class and you're wearing a suit, you're a briefcase.
Like, you understand?
We know you're much more likely to say,
your views are going to fit in.
And you're not rushing to work. The man who's rushing to work trying to get the pennies in because he's on his ass. They can't stop that man and do the survey. You get me?
But he's likely to give a more honest
presentation
of what actually matters with
100%. I think as well, you know, what we will do at some point on the podcast is we probably will talk about any experiences that we have had as, you know, black lads in the city.
I'd love to be on that one.
Yeah, no, but just
something like they've done. You know, you got given, let's just say, your first opportunity to go on Brits. Yeah. Would you want to do your own track just to show people your talent, or would you want to cause controversy?
No, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very controversial if they put me up on the Brits. Oh my god! I might get blacklisted from everything after that.
All publicity is good publicity. You get me?
In this day and age, it genuinely is.
Yeah, because as long as you're being talked about, everyone's gonna go, what tune was this, and go and listen to it. Oh,
exactly.
10 million views.
Yeah. So do you think, then just to put it back, just like, do you think that Dave...
You just put it out on iTunes so you have to buy it to listen to it as well.
Spotify streams get it in.
Do you think that Dave done what he done purely for the love of black people and trying to get that message out there?
No, I think it's a mixture. I think he's a fucking genius though.
Do you know what?
I think he's
do you know what? I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real
time.
Obviously, like, on a big man flexing now, obviously.
Close up on the reel.
Like, I'm gonna be real here. I'm gonna back Dave fully. You get me? I'm gonna back fully here because obviously I don't know him like too well, but like obviously before he got where he was and that, me and him used to listen to my music and stuff and whatnot. So like I'm gonna back him as Donny. Do you know what I mean? I think he did bring it up out of like not just out the controversy. Like that could have had some part of it, but I think mainly first and foremost it was for the love of what like to bring these subjects up. Do you know what I mean?
I think the performance was that good that you could only have bought it. Like the same way if a singer's that good.
I'm gonna back him 100% on that.
Genuinely connect with the tune, etc.
What I was gonna say was I think it came from a place of pride. I don't think he, in his wildest dreams at 17, thought by the time he was 21, he would be killing life like that, but have a platform to be able to talk about anything and everything that he has grew up around in his immediate environment.
Exactly.
And the fact that he did, I didn't think...
He's a clued up kid. Yeah, he's a very clued up kid.
You and him from a similar cloth, but at the same time, it's that I am not going to... Every day is a new opportunity, so I am not going to miss an opportunity to do what I know within me is right to do. And I think when he was on that stage doing that performance, for me, it came across as if this is nothing but pride. So you can think whatever you want. You can call it controversial. You can fucking slate me and say that I'm racist because I'm not bringing in the whole UK picture. But I am giving you a view into my window of my life and what it's like for many other people that look and resemble my appearance.
Yeah.
And I am proud.
Yeah.
Because look at where it's got me.
Yeah.
Do you get me? And that's what I got from it.
What would you speak on? So like he chose that opportunity to speak on.
I know what Rico would speak on.
I'd speak on. I want to hear what he thinks I'd speak on. That's a good one.
What does Rico always speak on in music? What?
You know his music.
Trapson.
So yeah, so if you want to, would you flip?
Would you flip it into a county lads and the whole fucked up systems and
I could, yeah, easily. Like, come on, I could easily do that. Yeah. But like, obviously, I'd probably more than anything, I'd bring up I'd probably spit about how.
What in Liverpool would you spit on then? See, like, because he spoke on things that really in London, because like Boris Johnson.
Okay, do you want me to tell you what I'd mainly speak? I'd mainly speak on Hillsborough. Honest to God. And like, I'm not even a Liverpool fan, but like, for me, like,
for anyone who knows, like, he's not a Liverpool fan.
I'm not a Liverpool fan. Do you know what I mean? Or an Everton fan either. Do you know what I mean?
He's a different kind of red, but we'll leave that.
Yeah, I'm an Arsenal fan, but growing up, guess what? The whole team was black. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Their whole team was black. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be real. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so I got brought up like,
you know what though? I've always been like that.
I'm going back to.
I've always been like that.
Trust me, like, trust me.
Frozone off The Incredibles, my favourite character.
Exactly.
In the Brits, I was going to say that before.
Trust me, like, honestly, like, that's probably what I would speak on, because to me, like, that's like the biggest thing our city's ever been through, and been lied at and shade been thrown on. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I'd say that and the riots.
Yeah,
to be fair, the only thing in terms of where
I was on the line on the riot, so like, you know
I'm talking the original riot.
Yeah, the original one.
Like, the second riot, I'll be honest, the second riot, yeah, look, that was such a pointless exercise. It just showed how.
Was that where man were looting and shit?
Yeah, that was.
Lad, that was
daft.
The country was, yeah.
We weren't just.
We didn't have a way.
Nah, look, I'm not.
You get me?
No,
I'm saying the looting was daft. I'm not saying the whole.
Yeah.
We had no way to. We had no constructive way to channel the anger. That was what you're rightly saying. We had no way to channel that at the time. Do you know the only thing? I wouldn't even say it was a regret, because it's not a regret. The only thing I'm gutted about when the second riots happened, I can't really call. I was away. I was in Tenerife. I was on holiday, so I'm sat there on a beach, and then next minute you see the news thing coming up, and as soon as you hear London's kicked off because of the incident, and then
was not far.
As soon as I heard Birmingham was in the bull ring, I just said, "Watch, by 5 o'clock that'll be in Liverpool tonight," and then you go back on your Facebook.
What's the best about the riots for me? Like, without even grasping on myself and all, I can point out who I am. On there. That's what's the brilliantest thing.
But as you said,
no, you can't see me.
As you said before, though, Hillsborough, and I'd definitely say alongside that period in the 80s, Hillsborough, the back end of the 80s, and the riots at the beginning of the 80s were probably the things that have disadvantaged Liverpool for years. And when I say disadvantaged, it's in the terms of how we've then later been portrayed by the media afterwards. And as you were saying, until someone like hopefully yourself and get into that position where you can not explain it, but you can find a way to articulate it and put it in a body of work and put it across. I don't think is like what Dave's doing.
That's the like, I didn't even have to think when I got asked that, because like, I swear down, it's the easiest thing, like, for me to straight away, it's like, I know that's one thing that like lurks over our city, that there's never been any real justice for it. 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Gotta be honest, I wouldn't speak about nothing to do with the city and that. I probably
would you do music?
Would speak on, you know, the fucked up system that stops us having stable relationships. I've got to be honest, that's probably what I'd speak on.
What stops you from having a stable relationship? Are you talking about with the girl?
Yeah, I feel like see what I touched on earlier about the brainwashing. I feel like it's the brainwashing, in tandem with social media, it's ruined everything.
And EastEnders and all that kind of stupid stuff.
It's ruined it. Kylie Jenner's lips.
No, it's
ruined. You're ruining it. You're ruining it. Like that. They're ruining it, bro.
You need to edit that bit in. That's you need the actual original bit for that.
Yeah, I think that we're in a generation now where like you've got to ignore your partner. This is just my personal opinion, do you know what I mean? But you've got to just ignore your partner. So like in the back of your mind, you know they're doing all that stupid internet stuff.
But you can't let it affect you.
Because if you do, your relationship will not be stable.
So you're telling you've got to then... So how's it stable if you don't say nothing?
Nah, because what I'm saying to you is when you start saying things, that's when you start arguing.
What's acceptable on social media for a girl?
Look, lad, because look, I'm currently going through a transitional phase where I'm starting to learn what's acceptable.
Again,
you get me? So like, so before this transitional period, lad, it'd even do me head in if they're just posting stupid nonsense selfies on the story. I'm not talking like you're on holiday, here's the beach. I'm talking like you're sat in yours, you're a bit bored, nobody's popping up to you, you put a selfie up. That used to do me head in. This new transitional Joe, you know, let it go over me head, lad, we're good.
Girl just be posting selfies and that. Like, I'm not saying let.
Nah, look, here's the thing now, yeah.
Who are you trying to send them selfies to, bro?
Yeah, well, yeah, but look, lad, the point is that girl's not getting the light of day from me if that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
So,
but they're all doing it. So look, no gal for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying to you? So this is what I'd speak about if I was on the bridge.
There's no gal for Joe.
That's the hardest. That's his subject. You know, I'm really touching me down.
No gal for me.
You know what? I know he goes through this. So that's why, like, it's so relatable to him. So you've got to rate it there.
100%. Well,
I wouldn't even go for something like that. Like I said, I'd go for the Hillsborough thing. Do you know what I mean?
100. But as I say, boys, nice one for coming down. It has been.
I
knew it would be. So I'm glad that we've had these in. So yeah, obviously you've got some new projects coming out in the next couple of months. Hopefully, there should be some freestyles going up as well. So stay tuned, people. Keep it locked. Obviously, we'll leave your details in the descriptions. But again, you know, it's been a pleasure. We're down at the group chat. Obviously, hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you again soon. Hosted by your boy Errol and.
Hosted by Marcel and Errol.
Errol's in the high chair, bro. Errol's in the high chair. Geez,
Who thinks? I've got one for you. Who thinks Marcel should be in that chair? Comment if you think Marcel should get a go of the big boy chair.
What rings better?
I've got to be honest.
Marcel and Errol.
Marcel and Errol.
Yeah, as well.
Errol and Marcel rings better, and I prefer Errol in the big chair. I'm sorry, man.
That's all the list that Errol's given us just straight away. He's like, yeah, Errol. Yeah, I'm with you, Errol. I'm fully with you on that. Errol's been there from early. Errol's been there from early.
Cool. Well, as I say, keep it locked. Tune in, comment, share. Nice one.